Hey guys, I just posted a video recently about putting on your own headstock logo using mailing tape or packaging tape. And I got so many good responses and like positive interactions and suggestions and questions. I figured I'd do a follow-up, do some of the do some experimenting with it and just answer some of the questions while I'm doing this. So I'll just go through the whole process again, but in this time I'm going to use packing tape that I got at Dollar Tree. So someone suggested using this because this is what they said they used because it's cheap, and by cheap they mean that it was a thinner tape and like it didn't show up as well as far as underneath the lacquer. So I'll use that. I'm going to experiment. Somebody said, oh, it'll work. This method will work with old books, pages from books, magazines, and maybe even I'll try a signature with a Sharpie or a marker. I'm not going to put any of them on this guitar. This guitar I'll show you. This guitar has been neglected. It's something I started putting together probably like last year, and I guess I lost interest in it. I made a bunch of hubcap guitars, and probably since this is something different, I'll show how it sounds in the end in case you've never heard one of these. But so I'm gonna put a logo on here that's like kind of automotive related or transportation related. I'm still coming up with that in my head, whatever. But I'll do that, and like I said, I'll do the whole process of what I showed in the other video, and I'll do the whole process on this one. So one of the questions that I got several times, and it was respectful, they weren't being like jerks about it. They were asking, why don't I just use the regular water slide decal paper? I don't know if I've ever actually used the water slide decal paper that you can buy for your printer. I don't remember doing that, but I definitely had water slide decals before. And so the reason why I probably wouldn't buy them, the main reason I would always tell people that I wouldn't use the water slide paper, it's just an added expense, and it's something that I don't normally have on hand. I like the idea of just, if I'm inspired or I have a project, I can just go around the house and find something that'll work. It's not professional, no, but it'll work to the level that I want to do and complete a project while I'm feeling inspired. That's the one reason. The second reason I thought of too, this is a more forgiving method for a non-professional, which I am a non-professional. I'm an auto mechanic and I'm not very, precise with things, little detail things. I have been able to paint guitars pretty good, but that's one of the other reasons. This is more forgiving. So I do believe that I had 2 water slide decals that came. They came with 2 when I ordered them to repair a guitar, and I think I broke one of them. I don't really remember. It's been a long time, but I've definitely had guitars that I've broken water slide decals on. So this is more forgiving. It's something that everyone pretty much has around their house already. So that's my reasons why doing that way. However, I could try it again in the future. By try, I mean making my own from the water slide decals. I do believe Walmart sells it, and I know I saw it on Amazon. You can get a pack of 20 for 20 sheets, probably for $10 or $15. But again, this project here is going to cost me $1.25 because that's what Dollar Tree charges now for things. The paint that I used, the clear coat, I actually didn't even buy it for that last project that I did. I bought it for my son who's doing a welding. He welded a sculpture and he needs to clear coat it. So I'm just using a little bit of the paint to get these 2 jobs done. This headstock, I don't even remember if I took this off or I bought it this way, but this was basically a parts guitar. So someone took it off and there's a little bit of gouges there. This is 400 grit. It's aggressive enough to get this done, I believe. You'll probably notice I'm not using a sanding block. I don't always use sanding blocks. I probably more often don't use a sanding block. I mean, guitars aren't exactly flat either, and this definitely is not flat right here, but I'm just trying to clean it up where it was scratched there. And then this will get one or two light coats of clear before I start putting the decals on. So after you get that logo off, and depending on if you get the logo off and the clear underneath is not damaged, you can just like smooth it out and just give it one quick little coat of clear, or none at all if it's intact, if the clear is good. But this one was down like a bit to the wood there, so I just sanded it until it's even, till I'm not getting, you can kind of tell when you're getting like the clear coat that's sanding, or you can tell when you're getting down to the wood. So this is down to the wood. I'm only going to paint the top of this, and I'll blend it in with, you know, some higher grit sandpaper. So at this point, you would just want to blow this off or vacuum it. And I'll just do that off camera. This is a wet, rainy day, or it's maybe drizzling at the moment. So this is the time I have to do the job. So this is how I work. I'll just go like right at the edge of my door of this basement that I'm in. Give it, because I'm not going to spray paint like right here in the basement. I'll give it a quick, you know, one or two coats, and then just bring it back in here to dry. So that way most of the fumes are outside. Now when I'm normally painting a guitar and it's already a painted surface, I clean it with rubbing alcohol. However, since this is bare wood, I'm just going to assume that it's, you know, dirt and grease free, and I don't want to risk the chance of this like messing with the grain or whatever. Alcohol does dry quickly, but I just don't want to do that. So I'm going to go out and give it a quick coat right now, and we'll see how it sticks. All right, there's the clear. That's after like 3 coats. It didn't come out as smooth as I'd like. It might be good, usable, but I gave it 3 coats just to give it, because I saw that it wasn't as smooth as I'd like. So I gave it in, you know, usually I would just give it like 1 or 2. I gave it an extra coat just because I saw it wasn't that smooth. So I'll probably just go over it when it dries in a few days. I'll just go over it with like maybe 1500 just to see. And if it smooths out, that's fine. If it doesn't, then I would just give it a couple more coats. And again, this step might not be necessary if your clear is in good shape, and if you were able to remove your old logo, if you have a logo, because some people might be starting with a bare wood neck, like from a kit. If you have the old logo, you get it off and it's clean, the clear's clean, you don't need to worry about, you know, giving it any coats of lacquer. And the tape you remove while the paint is still wet, so that you don't tear the paint, the clear, because when you spray, it's obviously going to go over top of this, and if you let it dry and you peel it off, it's going to rip. Some people I've seen, they'll take a razor blade and cut the connection, but if you just pull it off while it's wet, you don't have to worry about it. So this is a couple of days after the 3 coats dried. It's a little rough. It's probably be fine, but I just want to clean it up a little bit. I have just a drop of soapy water, a drop of soap in this water here, and 2000 grit just to kind of smooth it out very quickly. I'm not going to do a whole lot. And I just want to say again that this is not really that great of a clear. I think it takes a really long time for it to cure. Normally I would use this, but I don't have any of this on hand. This is a color, but I like this brand clear. To me, it dries like super hard, like really quick. Now the paper I use, I get this at AutoZone, and it's probably like $6. And there's a little assortment here, and I use these. If I buy one of these, it'll last several paint jobs on, you know, a guitar. And this was the laser printer, same as in the other video. And at the end of this video, I'll do an experiment with a bunch of other things. An inkjet, newspaper if I can find some. You know, basically just see what else might work. Because someone had suggested that inkjet works, and other people say it doesn't, so we'll see. Okay, so I just cut this out, trying to get close to the edge of the letters. And I'll do it, let's see, probably just maybe put it like that. And this is the same container that I had the sandpaper in, but I rinsed it out so that there's no chance that there's like sawdust or sanding dust in there. And this I'll just let sit for a few minutes and then check it once in a while and see when the paper is ready to be rubbed off. It's probably just a minute or so. You can see the paper is already coming off. It needs a little bit more time, but you just make sure you get every bit of white off. Roll it off like that and rinse it, and then after you get it all off, look at it really well to make sure there's no remainder of white. So with this cheaper tape, I did have a little bit more trouble getting all the remaining paper off the back. I don't know if that's the type of adhesive it's using is causing that, or if maybe the adhesive looks more white. But anyway, I'm going to put it on as it is. Okay, so this is an odd shaped head. I just struggled with the best way to position this. I didn't want to couldn't put it over here, and I didn't think it looked good here. Now, I'm not good enough on a computer to like curve a logo. I don't even know. I'm sure that's possible. But if you're good at doing that, you should probably make your own video of how to make, you know, a custom label like that. But I think it looks good. I like the font, and I think it's thinner, but we'll see once we get paint on it. I'm actually going to paint this right now. I'm just going to kind of make sure there's no water trapped underneath it and go outside and paint it. Okay, this one I'm doing just the top, but top side. But one thing you got to really check, you know, be aware of, if you use like a different kind of clear or an enamel, or like this clear that I said doesn't seem to cure quite well, if you do the back and then you don't wait long enough to hang it up in your stand, sometimes it'll get the black marks here from the rubber from the guitar hangers or the guitar stand. This one I'm only doing the top just because on the head, just because that's all it's needed, and like I said, this is like a, you know, homemade thing. Okay, that was the last coat. It was fairly thick, and in between coats, like 10 minutes or so, this is the way I keep it, just laying flat so that we don't have runs. Obviously, if I paint a body, again, I would use that perfect match, which in my opinion almost dries as soon as it hits the surface, and I will hang a guitar body up. But in this case, doing clear and using this one that I don't like, and especially when it's thicker, no matter what paint, I always lay it flat like this in between coats, and then as it dries, as it cures. And you can see my mess. I'm supposed to be cleaning this up. Okay, I figured I'd show these three in comparison to each other. This one has the dollar store Dollar Tree tape that was $1.25. This one has the Scotch brand tape, Both of these are laser printed on white paper and then removed. And then this one here is, I'm going to say, a non-professionally installed water slide decal. All of them, in my opinion, when you look at them in the light, all of them show the line of the decal the same way. I'm calling this non-professional just because it just kind of looks like it needs to be finished. I'll probably put a coat of clear on it, a few coats of clear on it, and then wet sand it. That'll probably make that look better. I probably mentioned this was given to me. I have no idea anything about this neck or who put this on. Okay, so I got that one. I'm just going to set this over here so I don't drop it. We have this one, which has the Dollar Tree tape. And again, if you turn this in the, let me get the light there. If you turn it in the light a certain way, you can see the edge of the sticker. Same with this one. This one was the 3M. Not 3M, I'm sorry, Scotch. Okay, so my Headstock logo project is done. I was able to prove that the Dollar Tree tape works fine, and if anything, it's probably slightly thinner. So now, just for a quick experimentation, I'm going to see if some of the other comments were correct, especially one that said that you can use magazines, inkjet, and anything like an old book or whatever. So I have a magazine here, a modern magazine, a 1960s map, and I have an inkjet printed page, which was very difficult for me to find. So basically a couple comments said like this, my method was out for them because they don't have a laser printer. One person even went as far as to do a couple of clowns and a middle finger and poop in their comment because I had a laser printer and they didn't. But I have a laser printer at home, so I couldn't use that to do this experiment. I figured I'd go to my local library, which is, I can use their computers and print something out, and they had a laser printer. I asked my wife at her work, could she print something out for me on an inkjet printer? She checked, and they have a laser. I went to my work, laser. I asked a friend, he has a laser printer. That's 5 different places, and including my first one. And then I finally found a guy that had a laser, an inkjet printer. I said, at that point, I said, just print anything out. I don't care what it is. So I said, just print your home page or whatever. So he printed his page from his mail. And there's like a Walgreens commercial advertisement here. So I'm just going to go over top of that. I'm going to do this on a quick time lapse, the soaking part and all that. So you don't have to watch that. And we'll see if it works. All right, well, I was going to try to time lapse this whole procedure here, but I didn't want anyone to think that I was, just going to show them a piece of tape that was clear and say that the inkjet didn't work. So you can see here that this is the inkjet and it is not working. As I rub off the paper, the ink is just coming off with it too. And this was printed yesterday, about 24 hours ago. So it's not like it's still wet or anything. So that does not work. At least this inkjet printer that my friend has does not work. I don't know what type of ink he has in it, but it's an inkjet printer. And that theory does not work. You cannot use that. And let's see, here's from the magazine. Magazine works. Okay, so just for the sake of time, I'm not going to, I did have a board over here I was going to put these on, but I'm just going to do it this way now that we can see. And especially since that inkjet, that does not work. So there's the magazine. Here's another page from the magazine. Now this, I'm just wondering if that's white. Yeah, the white is the page, and the green would be ink. So that white is coming clear, and the ink stays, the green ink from the trees stays on. That's not coming off at all. Whereas on the inkjet we saw that it was. Okay, there's somebody's arm. And then the last one is an old map. All right, so I decided to put them on the board anyway. This is a cedar plank from something that I found. I want to make sure I'm showing the truth. So here is the inkjet right there. This is the magazine, these two pieces. They worked extremely well. And the map from 1967, I believe, did not work too well because the paper, whatever type of paper it is, was kind of hard to come off, and some of it still kind of sticks on there. It's more fibrous, if that makes any sense. I'm not a paper expert, but the paper did come off the back, but it just didn't work well. I don't need to go into it anymore, but I've used maps before, and I used Mod Podge, and it looks pretty cool. But there you go. Inkjet, false, does not work. I'm sure maybe there's some inkjets that do work. This one did not work at all. All right, thanks for watching. All right, I got strings on this. I still have to do a few finishing things. I need to find some string trees here, I guess. But here's the guitar finished. Well, like I said, a few finishing touches needed. And I just figured I'd pluck a few strings here on the, just right here on the bench, in case somebody has never heard one of these before or just interested. Alright, here's a clean demo on the amp.